Govinda, Govinda, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, obeisances.
Dandavata. Oh my goodness, Praneshri's appeared in front of Gauranga Setu. Gauranga Setu. Setu means bridge. Gauranga means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Our golden Lord.
And we can learn something everywhere. And we can learn from Gauranga Setu how we should not put even images, even if not deities, of the Lord, etc., and his devotees out in the sun without protection as just an entertainment image. That on the bridge, as you enter the bridge, there are Jagai and Madai, but there's Gauranga and Nityananda. I have to remember exactly. There are two ends to the bridge. On each side of each end, there's some image. But that they put Gauranga there. Certainly Gauranga is there, and Nityananda must be there too. But when they put them there with no shade, no umbrella, no shelter, Guru Maharaj disapproved this. We heard this from him. So we must be conscious what we do in relation to the Lord, actually in relation to his photographs too. Means photos of the deities. With deities we can understand, and with photos of the deities also. All right, dear devotees, and Rupanuga Prabhu has joined us also. Welcome, Rupanuga Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So just as devotees are coming together, let us chant our mini Vandanam. Today will include Vandeham too. So Vandeham, Om Gyan, Vanchakalpa, and Namo Mahavaranyaya. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Parang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvijay Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Dandavat Pranam, dear devotees. And we have with us Jivana Devirasi, our senior most devotee here, Jivana. You have to accept it. And Bhagavan Prabhu, also Srila Guru Maharaj, disciple, here with us. Our all respect. And to each of you, Praneshwari Devirasi, Srila Gurudev, generation disciple, and to each of you one by one, our humble obeisances. From Brazil, very late at night, South Africa, very late in the morning, and Latvia, just a good time, and India, a good time, and Odessa, a good time also in Ukraine. So dear devotees, here we are. And California, Jayadev Prabhu is with us too. And Australia is a very good time. Not middle of the day, but Yes, middle of the day, maybe. All right. Nadia Priyadevirasi also to just joined us, and Lynn, Radha Sundri in Mayapur. Okay, dear devotees, do you have any questions? Let us start with this and not end with this. Do you have a question? Often I think, okay, I'll set the scene with some idea, and then we forget that, okay, we start talking on that theme, and then we think, oh no, we're meant to be here asking if you have any questions. And really, that is this one of the strengths of Zoom, is that, you know, we're here with each other. And indeed, sometimes in the temple, we come, we do our Bandeham, we do some invocation after the morning or the evening program. And sometimes we sit and we first of all say, well, here we are together. What would you like, what question would you like to put? Do you have a question? So here we are also. Do you have a question? Anybody? Don't be shy to ask. Okay. Well, yesterday we went in the forest on a hot afternoon in northern Italy, where depending on whose mobile phone and weather station it's connected to, the temperature was somewhere between 36 and 40 degrees. So some phones said it was 40 degrees, some said it was 36. Anyway, either way, for Italy, it was quite warm. And we were able to meditate on how we are to tolerate heat and cold, how we are to tolerate happiness and distress. And while walking, then it seems to be a natural environment for questions, for discussion, for clarification. And something that we do find by being with the devotees is that lots of things may be either partially understood or misunderstood. And we had some misunderstanding, and sometimes it comes from language, but sometimes it is just, oh, it is misunderstood along the way. And in English, dear devotees, the word to can mean also. Of course, you can't see how it's spelt when it's spoken. So sometimes, kind of very innocently, something becomes misunderstood. So, two, we found this out. Anyhow, we found this out. It was a simple misunderstanding. But many things can be misunderstood. And it seems we had a series of them yesterday that, oh, I thought it was like this, but not quite like that. So anyway, we are, oh, I see there is 6 chats in the chat box. Oh, with the obeisances. Okay, that's wonderful. We've got lots of obeisances in the chat box. Obeisances from Radha Sundari, from Chintamani and Jayadev, or Jayadev and Chintamani 2, not Chintamani 1, as I look in the box. Oh, it is Chintamani number 1, but Chintamani 2. There we are. Here's an example of misunderstanding the word to. So, and from Lynn to everyone, Hare Krishna. Yes, Lynn, very welcome. And Praneshwari, Jaya Nitai, welcome Chintamani and Jayadev, Prabhu and Lynn, and to all, no doubt. And Parama Bhakti Didi. Every time is a good time to be together with the devotees. It is indeed middle of the night, late at night, early in the morning, anytime, day and night is a good time to be with the devotees. And yesterday we had one little seva that needed to be done. And Madhurananda Prabhu said, and when will be a good time? And my reply was, well, now is always a good time. So we can appreciate now. Yes, okay. Then, dear devotees, if you don't have a question, Praneshwari Devidasi, if you like, you can start it. I can start us today, but you please start us today with some topic or theme so that I'm not always talking.
Well, Maharaj, Dana Krishna is coming in.
Oh, I don't have Facebook on, yes.
Maharaj, the disappearance of Srila Lokanath Goswami. Prabhu.
Ah, yes, your tomorrow, our today, yes.
Yes, yes. Can you please tell us something about him?
Well, I can tell you something about him. Let me just see if I can put Facebook on so we can see. No doubt devotees are with us on Facebook too. And you are all certainly very welcome too. And I click and I click and here we are. Oh, Rupa Vilas Prabhu, Nirupama Devidasi, and Kelly Kadamba, to each of you and to others who I can't see, but I know you're there on Facebook. Then to each of you, my obeisances, to our obeisances, you're with us together. Jai. So, Dana, welcome. Yes, Hare Krishna. Dana K, or as Praneshwari says, Dana Krishna. Very good. So, Lokanath Das Goswami. So, I can say one thing. First of all, I can say that 2 days ago, perhaps was Gopal Bhatta Goswami's disappearance day. Maybe 2 days ago or 3 days ago. Time passes fast. I think 2 days ago. I don't have the calendar directly in front of me. But Keshavananda Prabhu, our dear Keshavananda Prabhu, who it's just a little too early perhaps in England for him to be in the back to basics, but who is always with us all by heart. He sent a recording from the Radha Raman temple of the classic Brajabasis, pilgrims, Arti, the singing during the Arti of Radha Raman. And we here in Vila Govinda, we listen to it like very happily. And I described the scene. It was an audio, and I described the scene of the gentleman with kind of the race, I suppose, is, well, the race, I'm not sure, but the very classic, the very fit country farming kind of elderly gentleman, most of them with big mustaches, gray hair, big mustaches, wearing their white cloth, and they're standing and they're chanting this, difficult to hear the words, bhajan, to Radha Raman, because the Radha Raman deity is the deity of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, worshipped by him, the deity that manifests from a Shalagram Shila. And why I'm remembering that is because you're asking about Lokanath Goswami, and Lokanath Goswami, his Samadhi Mandir is, it's not even 200 meters. I would put it at 170 meters from the Radharaman temple to the disappearance, to the Samadhi of Lokanath Goswami. So we naturally remember the temple of Radharaman nearby, and Gopal Bhatta's Samadhi nearby, and the temple of Radha Gokulananda, and which is the temple in the compound of which Lokanath Das Goswami's Samadhi is. And Lokanath Das, we can say that we know that he is an example that Srila Guru Maharaj used, that the quality of a Vaishnava is not necessarily measured by the result in the sense of the quantity of their disciples or of the grandness of what we see has been left as their legacy in the form of temples, etc. But Lokanath Das Goswami had one disciple, which was Narottam Das Thakur. And that one disciple, then he had you can say unlimited disciples. He had thousands of disciples, largely in Northeast India. But Lokanath Goswami had one disciple, and that was Narottam Das Thakur. And Lokanath Das Goswami himself was not a preacher. In fact, quite the opposite. We hear that he did not preach at all, basically. And he avoided the association of anybody, that anybody will come to disturb his bhajan. So he was a genuine bhajananandi in that sense. And Guru Maharaj tells about him that his desire to be alone was so extreme that he didn't even keep water in his water pot. In the modern age, we have like this as our water pot, but make sure the top is on. But those days I have a kamandalu, which we see in India, the sannyasis sometimes carrying. It looks a bit like a teapot with a very thin spout, I suppose. And that pot they would have water in, but they would turn it upside down, and the top is on. But he would turn his pot upside down after he'd been using it, so that if anybody passed by, they wouldn't even ask him, oh, can I have some water? So some of the examples of the Goswamis, of the residents of Vrindavan, are very extreme and not for us to imitate. We are to follow the natural example that's been given, the very midway example, the Yukta Vairagya example of our gurus, of Guru Maharaj, of Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, or Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, applicable for this age. And not to imitate, but this is part of the glories of Lokanath Goswami. And as I say, he had one disciple, Narottam Das Thakur, and I think you all heard this pastime repeatedly, more or less. And I think there will be on the main page of sasmath.com today, there will be, I think, an audio as well as some excerpts of about Lokanath Goswami. There you can hear straight from Guru Maharaj or Gurudev. I'm trying to see now. Yes, there's a short audio of Guru Maharaj, and there are excerpts related to Sri Lokanath Goswami from Golden Staircase by Srila Guru Maharaj and Affectionate Guidance by Srila Govinda Maharaj. But the essence of it all is that Narottam Das Thakur had the dream from Mahaprabhu himself, and kept coming to him in a dream that you must go to Vrindavan and take shelter, take initiation from Lokanath Das Goswami. And with this conviction, he went to Vrindavan, but Lokanath Goswami was not giving initiation. And then with much trying to understand how to capture the heart of Lokanath Goswami, Narottam is considering how to capture his heart. And then he got some inspiration to cleanse the place in the forest where Lokanath Goswami would go to do his ablutions daily. So he saw secretly where he went to do his ablutions, and then Narottam would cleanse that place. And then presently, Lokanath Goswami himself starts to think, oh, I notice that this place is clean every day, even though I come here to do my bathroom duties. It is clean. Who's cleaning this? And he hid somewhere. And after hiding and investigating and seeing, he noted that it was Narottam Das Thakur. And Narottam had previously petitioned him, probably more than once, had come to him asking for his shelter, and he's saying, no, I'm not giving shelter to anybody, not giving initiation to anyone. But this softened his heart to see Narottam doing that. And he also had a dream. We understand Lokanath had some inspiration that previously he had got some indication, and I honestly don't recall if it was from Mahaprabhu or Nityananda, that in the future you will need to accept one disciple, one soul will come to you for shelter. You must give that connection. And so this came back to Narottam Das Thakur, and he understood, okay, this is the person. I'd forgotten, this was a long time ago that this was indicated to me, but now I understand this is the person who's come and I must give connection to him. And Narottam Das Thakur was then very famous as a preacher. And that is with the connection, the initiation from Lokanath Goswami and with the guidance of Jiva Goswami, who he was one of the three main students. Narottam was one of the three main students of Jiva Goswami, and also Krishnadas Kaviraj. He had extensive association with Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj also. And remember, in Vrindavan, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj had his temple, his place of worship. He established just very close to the Radha Damodar temple. And that temple is in our care. That temple came to Srila Gurudev's care. And it is right opposite on the other side of that very little road. Very little road. In the West, we tend to think of a road as a road. The road, I think we would call it a lane probably rather than a road, of Seva Kunj opposite our temple in Vrindavan. There is a little lane on the other side is the temple of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj. And so there, readily, Narottam Das Thakur had association of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj. And Lokanath Goswami, then he is connected with the Radha Gokulananda temple, which is how many meters away? Those of you who have been in Vrindavan, well, we can't measure it, but it is how far? 500 meters, half a kilometer? Not 1 kilometer, less than a kilometer. It is one round of japa, carefully chanted so that the monkeys don't get your beads. It's one round of japa only, really. It is not 2 rounds of japa. To go from, I mean, at least for my speed of chanting, to go from the Radha Damodar temple, our temple. Radha Damodar temple, of course, is the temple of Jiva Goswami. So the place where Narottam Das Thakur would extensively study with Jiva Goswami. So from there to where Lokanath Goswami is mainly identified within Vrindavan, means the Gokulananda temple, it is one round of japa and a bit. Beside, very near to Niduvan. And our temple is at Seva Kunj, very special place of Krishna's fine pastimes, and Niduvan, one and a bit rounds of japa away, also one of those fine places of Krishna's pastimes. Hare Krishna. So for many of us, remembering these personalities does transport us to Vrindavan at the speed of the mind. And Keshavananda was recording of the singing in the Radha Raman temple. It was actually very wonderful to hear. In fact, could probably share it with you. Oh, Rupa Vilas Prabhu sent a message on Facebook. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Yes, all glories to assembled devotees. See more. What does more say? Happily attending your darshan on Facebook. Jai. Thank you, Rupa Vilas Prabhu. Happily having you with us. That is the message there. And in our chat box, any new message? No. Oh yes, Dandi Maharaj. Alias SCSM360. Dandi Maharaj is with us somewhere. Oh yes, there you are. Dandi Maharaj. Dandavat. And obeisances and welcome. Yes, dear devotees. So there we are. Lokanath Goswami beginning our thought today, and really Guru Maharaj and really Gurudev both really did not appreciate when Western devotees would try to be alone and chant themselves and would not be with other devotees, would not come and attend the programs, etc., etc. So when we hear of the qualities of those such as Lokanath Goswami, then we must take this in absolute context of time, place, and circumstance, and understand that how they behave, we cannot behave. As Guru Maharaj pointed out too about Raghunath Das Goswami, I mean, there's so much inspiration to hear of his renunciation and of his 24 hours a day service. In fact, described as 22.5 hours a day of like active service and 1.5 hours a day for everything else. So it means that's still service related, but for his looking after the body duties, resting, everything, 1.5 hours a day. That is worshipable by us. That extreme capacity is worshipable, but to imitate is not approved by Guru Maharaj or Gurudev. However much we think, oh yes, I sit alone by myself and be a renunciate, renounce sleep, etc. We've seen for those without the adhikar, the capacity, the quality, renouncing sleep brings some madness. We have actually seen it. Hare Krishna. So Arjuna Gurakesh, the renouncer of sleep, he was able to conquer sleep. Very difficult to conquer, but that is a natural quality, not something which we can think I can do by myself. So renouncing sleep, renouncing food, renouncing Vaishnava association, the very necessity for us in particular, then we cannot do that. We cannot live off only leaves falling off the tree, etc. Hare Krishna.
Dear Maharaj, a question has come up on Facebook.
Ah, yes. And the question is
very far away from you, really very far away. It's from Nirupama, Didi.
Nirupama, taking refuge with the devotees. This is real, being a real refugee. Okay, I'm taking refuge from the material world with the devotees. Okay, I can't see the question, but you can. The question is?
The question is, what is the love of the Lord? It might be rephrased, what is love for the Lord? What does it mean? Love for the Lord.
Well, we see a shadow of love in this world. So Why is it unreasonable to think that there is real love in the real world rather than the shadow world? We will know when we are there. When we have it, we will know. In the meantime, we are given so many examples, metaphors, similes. We are given so many examples like this world, but not like this world. We see, and in fact, Nirupama knows that in Vila Govinda ashram right now, they have recently, the recent part of the readings of Chaitanya Charitamrita are dealing with very high topics. The very end, the very last part of Chaitanya Charitamrita, dealing with very high topics about Krishna Prema. And the thing is, Prema doesn't translate into the word love. It only translates into the word Prema, because we only know the loving dealings of this world. But still, very carefully, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has presented from the scriptures and from Mahaprabhu's words, Mahaprabhu's activities, some indication of what is love of God, love of Krishna. And whether the question is love for Krishna or love like from Krishna, either way around, the Lord reciprocates with his devotees. And so much so that the Lord tells that he is captured by his devotees. The only persons who can control him are those whose heart are overflowing in love for him. Then he finds himself subservient to that love. Now, that doesn't mean that the motive is, I will be the controller. I control the whole world. I want to control the universe. If I control God, then I'll be the supreme controller. That's not the motive, and that's not going to get us into the land of love. That's going to be not even the land of like awe and reverence. It's sort of the, oh, God is my servant department. But it is one of these concomitant factors of devotional life, that the devotee gives himself to the Lord, but the Lord gives himself to the devotee. Nirupama. When we wake up to that, we will know what it is. Every morning we wake up and we are always, first of all, shaking off the tamagoon of where was I for the last few hours, and bringing us into the normal world, if you like. We need to also shake off the normal world, three modes of nature, and then we may have some hope of a glimpse of the upper world. But this is our life, to cultivate love of God. And as Guru Maharaj points out, there can be no complaint against such campaign. What complaint can there be against? A campaign to wake up love of God in oneself and in others. It is a most natural thing. Hare Krishna. And where does love and affection come from? Where does beauty come from? Where does consciousness come from? Aha, maybe there's an answer. Praneshri Devirasi has given us a quote from Sermons Volume 3, our greatest wealth. So please let me hear someone else's voice. Jivana Devirasi, please, would you like to read Guru Maharaj's words? And I see Paramananda who joined us too. Dandavat Paramananda Prabhu, morning obeisances. And Ekadashi also joined us from Tom's morning obeisances. And if I missed anybody joining us, then please excuse obeisances to all. Jivana, please,
Yes.
kindly.
Let me see. So I'll be in the chat room.
Chat. Yes.
Chat. Okay.
So this is Guru Maharaj speaking in Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion.
Okay, volume 3, Our Greatest Wealth. God takes the form of Krishna in the plane of love. And that is the most fundamental and most subtle plane behind all this variegated creation. So come to that plane, try to penetrate into that plane where God is Krishna and where the paraphernalia is Vrindavan. Anyhow, try to have admission in that plane and you will find there the happiest form of life.
Well, there is a very succinct answer to the question. Beautiful. Hare Krishna. And when we wake up, we will find, as we awaken, we will find ourselves in a special plane. And I may or may not have a quote for you, because I was reading this recently. Sorry, I don't have immediately at hand. But it was when we waken up, this is Guru Maharaj saying, essentially, in paraphrasing, that the more our vision is awakened, the more we see the hand of the Lord everywhere. And so we can see finer things, the more our vision is woken up. And in the highest, the most awake situation, we will find there Lord Krishna and his associates, paraphernalia, and land. And that is the land of Goloka Vrindavan. Very beautiful quote, but I perhaps don't immediately have it with me. Sorry. Those who were in our Italian Zoom yesterday would have it etched in their heart, because we had it in English and Italian yesterday in our Zoom. But I think, were any of you? Yes, Parama Bhakti was with us, I believe, in the Italian Zoom yesterday. But we're not expecting everyone to remember word by word. You were with us yesterday, Parama Bhakti Didi? Yes? No, you weren't. Okay.
Actually, Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat everyone. I tried today, actually yesterday for you, Maharaj, but I couldn't. I don't know why.
Oh.
I waiting for the host put me in the class. I don't know.
Okay, Didi, we need to add you to the chat list or something, the list, because what happened is that I also was waiting for the host to start. And then here is Madhurananda Prabhu, who sends out the invitations. And I said, and then he said, oh, I don't have the password. And Munindra Mohan Prabhu, he's not here in Vila Govinda right now. He's gone to Thailand, to our devotees in Thailand. And so in a little gentle emergency, we had to find another way. So it became a new link for yesterday. Also, please excuse about that. I also couldn't get in, and we finally were able to. So
I just can help now because I didn't remember.
Right, understand. All right, now in the meantime, Praneshri has given us another, after giving us the direction of our happiest form of life, now she's given us remembrance of Srila Guru Maharaj's brightest encouragement and guidance. Oh, look at that. Just as, oh, this is the exact quote. Oh my goodness. We've got to give credit to Praneshri Didi for being, as they say, on the ball for coming up with the quotes. This is the exact quote. Just as with the opening of the eye, we can see the world, and according to the degree of our sight, we come to see the subtlest thing of the environment. So, also by our inner awakenment of the fullest type, we come to a particular world, environment, and that is Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan, the land of love. Yes, Dana K, I agree with you. Oh, so wonderful it is. It just needs a big oh. And one of Nirupama's children yesterday, they are asked, they come downstairs. We had 5 young children together yesterday in Vila Govinda to keep plenty of evidence of life around the ashram. Anyhow, the 5 young children were together, and goodness knows what children talk about when they're together. And the young daughter, I think, came down to her mum and said, "Mum, what is a ghost?" So then, how do you explain to, I don't know how old she is, like 7 years old. How do you explain to a 7-year-old what is a ghost? But with finer vision, you can see ghosts. We know they exist. With finer vision, you can see the soul separate, independent of the gross material body. And Gurudev had finer vision, by the way. And certainly, he could understand, in his own words, in his own expression, he expressed that if I want to know, if I'm in Calcutta, I want to know what's happening in my room in Navadip, I ask one of my friends, the ghosts, and they can immediately answer what is happening in my room in Navadip. Mahananda is in there and he's doing this, doing that. So Gurudev, he has his friends, and the ghost doesn't need to catch a so-called express bus in India to go from Calcutta to Navadip to find out what's happening. He can go at the speed of the mind. And yesterday we heard how Mahaprabhu went at the speed of the mind, left the devotees and went into the ocean, dived into the ocean in Jagannath Puri, thinking it to be the Jamuna. But he was with the devotees, and then suddenly he's not there. He disappeared. At the speed of the mind, he went to the ocean, and the devotees all completely baffled. Where did he go? Hare Krishna. And they looked for him everywhere. That's how fast he disappeared from their sight, and devotees are always with him. So a ghost can go at the speed of the mind. Mahaprabhu can go anywhere at the speed of the mind. And Gurudev said, for us, the fastest way to go somewhere is by mind. We can go with our mind. Nirupama Devidasi, does that answer your question? We can ask Jivana to say a few more words. She read Guru Maharaj's words, but Jivana, give us a clue. What is love of God and love from God too?
Well, you can think of so many things, but it reminds me that there's Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. So that's like our ultimate goal. Always we keep our ultimate goal above our head. We may, well, I mean, I don't know about yours, may not be there, but that's our ultimate goal. It's certainly the highest goal, especially after what what you've just read and what we brought up with Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. So that was one thing that I was thinking. And then the other thing was, I think maybe it was you, Maharaj, or maybe it was one of these classes where, or maybe I read it or heard it in one of Gurudev's talks, that he said that we should serve with faith and honor, because affection isn't really possible at this stage, but faith and honor. And then, like you're saying, affection and love, it will descend, it will come, and we will know. We won't have to ask, you know, what if it's here or not, because we will know. Does that sound right? Do you remember that piece?
Yes, but I can't quote word for word, but it was that theme. Yes.
Yeah,
Faith
something along and honor. Yeah, so sometimes if you're doing your service and you're, you know, often we'll feel like, well, I really don't feel like I have a lot of love and devotion for the Lord here, but at least we can think that we have faith in him, and we want to honor him, and that will help us a great deal in our service, thinking like that. So that's a couple things I was thinking about.
And that also brings in my mind too about how we came to Guru Maharaj and how we came to Gurudev. And we come with respect, with honor, and with faith. Somehow from the beginning, we're coming to you know, that real, that I'm not real, but that super standard of Vaishnava. We're coming to, like, who is the Siksha Guru of Guru Maharaj, of Srila Prabhupada, and who is the dearmost son of Srila Prabhupada. We're coming into that association. And when we came there, it is definitely honor and with faith. And we are coming, we're serving, we're listening, we're trying to do service, to being engaged by the devotees there. But the affection that came from them and us to them, if you like, then it built up. We can't say on the first day we entered the temple, then, you know, we are in love of Guru. It is, I suppose, appreciation and faith. But then this is transforming in its natural way. And I mean, what experience have we got of like pure love in this world? We can say that love of Guru Maharaj, his affection, that love of Gurudev, his affection. We can think this is the purest thing in our life, of where we've got that beautiful sweetness of, you know, perfect persons. So with Krishna too, he's a little far away for us. He's in Goloka Vrindavan. That's a long plane flight to go to Goloka Vrindavan. He's a little far away. But our experience of emotion, if not devotion, anyway, of some kind of affection by those who really are a storehouse of affection, our Guru Vaga, it is coming naturally. And then we can't say, what day did we wake up and we found we had love of Guru? Not sure which day that was. But anyway, something which evolves. What day did we? Many things in this world, isn't it? Life. Now life is a strange thing. And we are all living. And our real nourishment of life is affection and love, all of these things. And this is why also with the devotees, our relation must be also affection and love. This was shown by our Guru Vaga, shown in particular Gurudev, teaching us, showing us all the way through, giving his example of how to give affection. Affection may be the general, and then the love is something more than affection. And what is of the upper plane, it is more than we can really describe, even in our experience of the relationship with the devotees. And love of Krishna, keep reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. There we will see that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is lost for words. Then we mere mortals in this plane can only try to indicate, and even we are indicating something which is the property actually of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, of Guru Maharaj. It's the property of those purest souls, and we are kind of showing that direction. We hope, at best, we hope. At least we can say, go there. There you will find everything fulfilled. Really, it is the case. That standard of Vaishnava. This is Guru Maharaj Gurudev Srila Prabhupada. This is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And what are they giving us? That standard of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give, they have given to this world. Hare Krishna. And if we have Guru Maharaj and Gurudev at the center always, then we will find great harmony everywhere. That is the very life and soul of the devotees. There we will find harmony in the current of the variegatedness of the world. Hare Krishna. So what was the question? How do we know what is love of God? We will know it when it happens. Paramananda Prabhu.
Adamananda Prabhu is going to read the chat, Maharaj.
Is he?
Yes.
What's in the chat? Have I missed something?
His contribution.
I was just, no, it wasn't exactly a contribution. It was a private message to Praneshwari, actually.
Oh, okay. Now it's
but it did remind it about the love, the prema discussion. Like Maharaj pointed out, it's not our, we do not possess it. It's not our property. No qualification to discuss. But the fact that we're here and we're aspiring for something wonderful and beautiful, that the fact of that is that we've been touched by that, by those who actually possessed it. And that attracted us infinitely and forever. And we can say, on one point, we can say, we're just going to serve one day, and Srila Gurudev pointed out that a true love and affection can only come on a stage when a devotee is firmly fixed in tasting Krishna consciousness, the rati, ruchi. He's always feeling this attraction to Krishna consciousness, attraction to the taste of Krishna consciousness. He needs to pass through the stages of Shraddha and Nishtha, strong faith. Then he will understand what is actual affection is, and he will start understanding and feeling what is love is. But then also, Srila Gurudev points out in one of the comments that at that stage, a devotee will never think, am I in the possession of love? Am I actually experiencing love? And he's giving the verse of Mahaprabhu, na premna gandasti dharape mekaro. So, krandame so bhagya bharam prakashitum. I do not possess even the slightest tinge of prema. And if you see tears coming from my eyes, take it as just a show. It has nothing to do with reality. I'm just making a show. Mahaprabhu himself giving that position to prema. One who actually possesses prema will never say, will never think, will never even consider he possesses a drop of that. So in that position, we can say, yes, when will that happen? We will know. But actually, it can also be said that we will not know, because you will always hunker for more. You will always feel yourself unqualified. But others who are in that kind of situation, they will spot and they will say, yes, he is in possession of that. We can see that. But that person will not express such such feelings. That's also Srila Govinda Maharaj. And so many wonderful things he said about it. But another verse is Kapila Muni. He's pointing that out step by step, the natural development of that. He's just pointing in that direction by saying Shradhara Tir Bhaktir Anukramishiti Satat Prasanga Mama Virya Samvido verse. So first, due to association with those who are in the possession of prema, who are overwhelmed, whose hearts are overflooded with prema, it will happen. And one day you will develop from Shraddha. Then some strong faith will come to you, and then Rati will come, Rati and Ruchi. You will feel attraction, and it will flood your heart. It will be unstoppable, and it causes a Haitukiya Pratihata. And then after that, you will feel what is bhakti is. The prema may come. And who is the giver of prema? Actually, the one who possesses the prema, and that is the devotee of Krishna. So who is distributing Krishna prema? The devotee of Krishna. The highest devotees of Krishna, like Maharaj just quoted Guru Maharaj saying, Vrindavan, what is Goloka Vrindavan? It's the land of love. Are they asking themselves about love? No, I don't think so. It's just their state of existence. I'm not sure if there's even a word for that there. It's just how they are. It's just how they breathe, how they live. There is no other purpose. There is no other meaning of that life. And that's we also can gather from Guru Maharaj and from Srila Govinda Maharaj. And personalities like Lokanath Das Goswami, and I believe it's his disappearance, Maharaj?
Yes, correct.
Yes, they are the ones who are in the possession. And how are they acting? Always dina, always fallen, and always asking for doya, mercy. That is their position. And if you look at the life example or Leela of Lokanath Das Goswami, through what he went before he came to Vrindavan, it's heart-wrenching. And really, you may ask, why Krishna is doing that to his dear devotees, like Parshas, eternal associates? Why is he doing it to them? Like again, and again, and again, and again. And we hear how Lokanath Goswami aspiring. He wanted to see Mahaprabhu, so he leaves his village and he goes to Puri because he heard Mahaprabhu. He went to Navadvip. He's on the way to Navadvip because Mahaprabhu took sannyas. Then Mahaprabhu is there for a short while. Then when he's about to reach Navadvip, he hears the news. He just left for Puri. He starts for Puri. While he's halfway to Puri, he gets the news that he just left for South India. And immediately he goes to South India. And again, how many years? 6 years of South Indian trip. Then again, in the middle of that somewhere, he gets the news Mahaprabhu is back to Puri. He desperately starts for going back to Puri. While he's nearing Puri, he hears Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan. Then he goes to Vrindavan, and while he's nearing Vrindavan, he hears Mahaprabhu just left Vrindavan. I mean, just think about it. We can talk, I can say things, but how to feel it, that's amazing. Yes, Maharaj.
Tell us more how, please, no, I'm not sure I was, but please tell us more. I was just with an exclamation mark about this way that the Lokanath Goswami. Yes, tell us more, please.
And then when he is there, he is ready to end his life. I mean, what is the point for him to continue his life when Mahaprabhu is not giving him darshan? Wherever he just feeling himself unfortunate and unfit and bereft of any love, any prema whatsoever. How is that possible that Mahaprabhu is not giving him, a second of his darshan? So he is considering, I'm going to leave my body here in Vrindavan. There's no point. He is on the outskirts of Vrindavan. Then Mahaprabhu, seeing that intensity, it's reached the highest intensity in the heart of Lokanath Das Goswami. And he is seeing that, and he understands that, okay, he's going to do that. It's time. And then Krishna appears to him in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and says, oh, Lokanath, please, do not think that I'm not giving you my darshan. You're always with me and I'm always with you. It's a fact. So please, you listen to me. You go to Vrindavan, you stay, and soon you will be joined by Rupa and Sanatan. So also it's a hint that actually he was the first Goswami to arrive on Mahaprabhu's orders before Rupa and Sanatan, before they came. And Lokanath Das Goswami takes it to the heart. And as Maharaj mentioned, that Mahaprabhu also, maybe that moment, maybe later, he is, and I will want a special seva from you. A wonderful personality named Narottam will come one day. You must accept him as your disciple. That is my instruction. So, and that happens. And we've been also very fortunate while visiting Jaipur to always have opportunity to bow down, offer our dandavats, and not only just that, but also honor Mahaprasad of Radha Vinod. Maharaj, is it Radha Vinod or Radha Vinod Bihari? Radha Vinod.
Radha Vinod.
Radha Vinod, the deities of Lokanath Das Goswami. And again, how did that happen? It's also amazing and astonishing. Krishna, I mean, he had no, I mean, the devotees of that, I cannot even describe in words. They're always hankering to be with Krishna, to worship Krishna, to serve Krishna, to love Krishna. So much that Krishna couldn't stand it anymore. So he had to appear and basically force himself on Lokanath Das Goswami because he wanted to feel what he feels in his heart. And then one day he hears this cries or calling from a bush. And then he follows the call, and then he finds this beautiful deity of Vinod, Krishna. And then he appears to him. I don't know, maybe he appeared in a bright daylight, or maybe it was during him resting, and says, Prabhu, I'm here. Lokanath, please, you take care of me. You're my dear devotee, and I'm very, very much attracted by your devotion and love. So please, you take care of me. And Lokanath Das Goswami said, yes, I can do as much as I can. You can see my situation. I'm every day under the different tree. Whatever you're taking, you offer it to me. I'm totally fine. You don't have to do anything for me. Don't build a temple. I understand your situation. Happily, Lokanath Das Goswami takes this service. And as we know, he's been carrying. And remember, they're not proper sannyasis. I mean, meaning not wearing a sannyas vesh. We also heard about that. They're sadhus, they're saints, they're whatever vesh they have, it's whatever they have. So he had a piece of cloth, so he tied around his neck, and that was his temple for Radha Vinod. And everywhere he would go, he will be carrying this. He is not so, from some, what is it, Maharaj? In our eyes, he appears rather small. And we also had a very good fortune of having his darshan every time we go to Jaipur, and a pujari who is serving him, his name is Parikshit Maharaj, Bengali Gaudiya Vaishnava. He is serving very nicely and always happy to see the devotees, and especially happy when the devotees are singing the glories of Mahaprabhu in connection to Lokanath Das Goswami. And I remember every time he says, can you say something about Mahaprabhu? He is trying to say, and then Maharaj would speak about Mahaprabhu in Leela. You can see his big smile, he is satisfied, he's just sitting there, enjoying the Krishna Katha. I don't know how much he understands English, something he understands. But after that, happily giving prasadam of Radha Vinod to all the devotees. So Maharaj, that's all I wanted to actually, it was just a little quote of that verse that I sent to Praneshwari.
Jai.
Yes, but can you please read it? Read it. It's very short.
The verse is Satat Prasangam Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Krit Karnara Sayana Katkata Josanata Swapavarga Vartmani Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukrimishiti. So it is said, it's Kapila Muni. He's giving his instructions to Devahuti. He is about to leave his mother, and Kardama Muni already left long time ago. He said that your son will give you all the necessary instruction for the perfection of your life. So Devahuti is begging him, now you're going to leave too, and I don't know anything, so how should I proceed? And he is saying, stay with the devotees, stay with those who have love for Krishna. Hear, let their katha, their topics they're discussing, that nectar-like enter your ears. And what will happen? You will develop faith, then you will develop attraction, and then the bhakti will come to you. But Kapila Muni points that out, and Guru Maharaj quotes this verse a lot. And then Anukramishiti, and Guru Maharaj says it will happen naturally, step by step, one step at a time, but also it can be presented as a natural development, not to force it. Like Maharaj pointed in the beginning of our talk about Lokanath Das Goswami, these devotees are not to be imitated. Imitating Krishna landed us in our situation here in this world. So if we're trying to imitate devotees of Krishna, it will probably land us in an even worse situation than we're already in. So we have to be very mindful about it. And worshipping that mood, worshipping the mood of personalities, the way they worship Krishna. That is our position. And that is in our mat, right in the front, as everyone knows. Pujala Ragapata Gaurava Bangi Mattala Harijana Kirtanarangi. So that is our position. And Guru Maharaj pointed out about that in that verse. The teachings of my Guru Maharaj are fully encapsulated. That was the verse.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Haribo. Jai. Well, Lokanath Das Goswami's disappearance day. Ki Jai. My goodness. I'm afraid to ask for more because our time is up. But I think if Paran was saying, well, that's just a little remembrance from this short verse, then what's going to happen if we ask for more? But really, that's wonderful to hear. And I'm trying to think, I mean, really, I'm not sure that I know all of that history of Lokanath Das coming to Vrindavan, how he came to be in Vrindavan. Really, that's very wonderful to hear. We are all hearing, that's why we come together to share from each other. All along, this is what we are here for sharing. All right, dear devotees, with this auspicious beginning of the day and with the sun rising over Gauranga Setu behind Praneshwari Devi Rasi, now the sun, 9 o'clock, okay, it'll be a bit higher by now, but a short while ago, it was looking very similar to this. This is sunrise, as long as the camera is on this side of the Ganges, it's sunrise. Taken from a little down the river. They've gone under the bridge where the river flows from left to right when you come from the temple down to the Ganges. So someone's gone a little bit further down there to a place where we'd also bathe. And there they've taken that photograph early in the morning, after Mangalati, after the sunrise. So beautiful remembrance. Yes, dear devotees, and to Jagamohini Devi Dasi, and to Kate and Kulish also, who joined us on Facebook. Certainly our obeisances to you both, appreciation to all of you, one by one, and to those who are with us later too. And may you all have wonderful, spiritual, savorful days until we meet next. And please do chant Hare Krishna without offense. Do have appreciation for everybody without seeing any fault anywhere. Do adjust to the environment. We have to adjust. The environment cannot be changed by ourselves. And make each of us our lives successful for Krishna's service.
Jai Srila Bhaktiranjan Madhusudana Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. And Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. And Jai Om Vishnupad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Bhaga ki Jai. All our present day Shri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. To all the assembled devotees ki Jai. Jai Shri Padandi Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Bhagavan Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Shri Paramananda Prabhu ki Jai. Jivana Devi Rasi ki Jai. Praneshwari Devi Rasi looking after us all ki Jai. And to all of our devotees on Facebook and all around the world, our obeisances to one and all. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Dandavat dandavat. Nitai Gora Haribo. Haribo.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Ami Ashchi.